Okay, today we're going to learn how to make a kind of simple console game with C++, but this is it's going to be exciting. It's a lot of fun for me when I do it, and this is going to be very exciting. We're going to have an awesome time, because one of my subscribers requested that I put a more advanced video, so I figured this was kind of advanced, so let's make a computer game. The first thing you're going to do, open Visual Studio 2000, and if you don't have it yet, you can go ahead and download it now. I recommend that you have a general understanding of C++. If you don't, that's okay. I'll explain what's going on. If you're downloading Visual Studio for the first time, note that if you have Windows Vista or later, the newest you can get is Visual Studio 2010. But that's just still, but if you have newer, you should go ahead and get Visual Studio 2015. So I'm going to go to File, click New Project. Yeah, it takes a little while to create these. My friend was talking to me once, and he said, when I get down the dumps, I go clothes. I said, yeah, that it looks like that's where you get your clothes from. Anyway, press some time. I've got some backup files here just in case I get kind of lost in thought as to what I'm supposed to be coding. So you don't have to be afraid that this is going to go wrong. Alright, so I'm just going to wear a name. I'm just going to call it Zoget. Okay? And you're going to do Visual C++ Windows 32 console application. Click OK, and it's going to create the project. Yeah, when you're doing videos like this, it helps to know a lot of jokes because there's a lot of time in making this project. Next, console application, check that. Precompiled header, yes. And your mouse development life cycle checked. Look like life side. But a cycle, I'm guessing. Zoget. And I mean, I don't have a slow computer. All right, how about another joke then? What did the mother hamburger say to the father hamburger? Meet your son. Ha. The guys of you do be smart. The guys of you who didn't know you. Finally, we got it. So we're just going to do a quick debug, make sure there's nothing wrong with the logic of the project itself. If everything goes okay, the prompt should pop open real quick. Build starter project Zoget debug Windows 32. Yeah, I'm practicing. I'm talking like an auctioneer. My sister is staring. She's doing schoolwork right now. Yeah, I'm homeschooled. Started debug. Build. Oh, what's going on? Right. Okay, it's building. The first time is usually pretty slow, then after that, kind of faster. Excuse me. Why didn't Farmer sell cows to the city folks who wanted his land? Because there was too much at stake. Stake cows. Okay, we got this window. That means everything's going good, and we're now going to start drawing some stuff. Now, we found, for some reason, with me, return 0 doesn't really work. So I'm not going to get rid of return 0, but if that doesn't, prompt window open, what I'm going to do is go here, press enter, and I'm going to type c.get. Now, since I expect you not to know C++ kind of, I'm not going to go into explain what all this is, but it doesn't recognize CN, so I'm going to have to include IOStream for it, so it can recognize. Okay, and then we're going to type using namespace std that specifically say like ECN, so you don't have to tell the computer that's a member of the std family. It'll automatically recognize it. All right. Recognize, and I'm not going to go messily. So first I'm just going to right click over here on the right side. I'm going to right click on it, rename. I'm going to rename it main.cpp. It's called main.cpp because int main is here. The next is we're going to right click on the Zoget part, and we're going to click add a class. Okay, C++ class add class name. And I'm just going to call it console. Okay. So I should have named it player probably, but that'll work fine. And one is I'm gonna if and def console h. Now what if and def means is that it's not defined. I can't explain it too much because I'm not a genius, but if this folder is not defined, then it automatically defines it. It can help take care of errors, I think, like with including errors with this file. And then you got to include endif. Got it wrong. Endif matches up with if and def. If you don't include endif, it's going to complain about it. Okay, so we got class console. We got the default constructor and deconstructor to initialize this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few other things. Now the first thing I'm going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and add a simple map to the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an extern. Extern allows you creating the .h file, and you can define the variable outside of this file, like in the CPP file. So I'm going to character map, and right now we're just going to have it. First is the y-axis, which is up and down, so I'm just going to say 10, so I can be 10 up and down. And then next is the x-axis, which is left and right, and I'm going to do 20, so it's going to be 20 left and right. So we're going to map 10 by 20 map. And let's go ahead and create that map in console.cpp. Alright, so map 10 20, and we got to define it as a character map and array. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start creating the map. Alright, let me take a look at these files real quick, what I've got here. Okay. Now I got to put a bracket. The bracket will contain the actual data of the map. Alright, and you enclose the map in quotation marks. So the first thing, since it's about 20 wide, I'm going to put about... Actually, let's just start off with 10 wide, and we'll create the map bit by bit every time. So we're going to put 10 of these right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another quotation mark, a comma. Control C, I'm going to copy that. Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to copy that. Alright, put one whatever that thing is. I'm just going to call it checks. Whatever that means. Makes you think of the check cereal. So I'm going to take that, Control C. And what I'm doing, creating a simple map. Alright, there's 5. And right now, I'm not going to make it as big as it has to be. I'm just going to get a simple thing going. So we got this right here, and I'm going to put the final bracket. Alright, it's complaining. Let me see what the problem is. Shouldn't be complaining. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe I have to enlarge this, I'm not sure. 11. And take a look at this, what we got here. Okay. First of all, I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm just going to copy this map from over here and edit it. Okay, it's working. Wait a minute. I enlarged the y-axis. Sorry, the y-axis is fine. I need to enlarge the x-axis, and that should fix it. It was too wide. Okay, so we got this simple map over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right around here, put this little A symbol, and that's the most popular symbol for the character. And so now, let's create some new... This is contradicting with the map defined outside. So we're going to create a new class member. I'm going to call it move. And it's going to be void, I think. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to be looking at this a lot. But we're going to have to create several variables for this. So the first one I'm going to create is extern int x, which will be the location of our player on the x-axis, then extern int y, the location of our character on the y-axis. And so So I have to find where this, and I'm just gonna put it in a simple spot right now. I'm gonna put it at 1, 1 on the map, the position 1, 1, and so x is gonna equal 1 and y is gonna equal 1 because that's the location of our player. X equals 1, and I have to find it as int and int y equals 1. Ergum. I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to define move. And this is going to take a little bit of... It's not going to take whole much code for the first part, but as we add more logic to what's actually behind the move, it's going to take more space. It's void, which means it doesn't return any value at all. And what that means... I don't think I'm really going to go in detail to explain it. So move. Alright, I'm going to go here and just take a look at what we've got. And alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to give it parameters now. int h, int... Wait a minute. No. int v first, and then int h. V stands for vertical, and H stands for horizontal. Okay, so that means when you call the function, when you use the move function, when you have to insert the value he goes up and the value that he goes left, so that makes him move. What's going on? Okay, move, and I'm going to have to find int v, int h. Alright, so I'm going to create a new variable called intx2, and it's going to equal, y2 is going to equal x plus v. So, in other words, int-y2 is going to equal the however many spaces above the player that we want our character to move to. Then we're going to create intx2, and that's going to equal y. No, this is supposed to equal y plus v, and this will equal x plus h. So this will equal how many spaces we want our player to move on the x-axis. So I'll add a, which is a value that we want him to move. So for example, if it was -1, we'd add -1 to x. So now x would equal 1 less, which would make our player move to the left. Okay, and so take one quick look at what we got here. Okay, so now we have to insert a little bit of logic. So I'm going to add if x, and if x equals, or I'm just going to do it like we did. If x equals a blank space right now is just what we're going to add. And y equals a blank space. In other words, if the spot that we want our character to move into is blank and there's nothing in the way, then it's going to go ahead and move into it. So if that is the case, we're going to... Sorry about having to look here so much. It's just... I'm still figuring this out myself. Alright, x equals a blank space. In other words, the old location where our player once was equals blank, so he's not leaving behind symbols of him everywhere he goes. And then wait a minute, it needs to be map y x2. This is for movement on the x-axis. So if x2, which is the location our character's moving into, wait a minute, if I'm getting confused here. Alright, map y x2 equals blank. Alright, if space our character is to move into, because x2 is the space we want to move into, so if that space is a blank, then the space our character wants is a blank, x plus h. So now x, where our player is, has added to it, so he moves over to the spot where we want him to, and then And I think, yeah, map y x equals player symbol, or you could just create a character that held the player symbol and use a different character. Just replace this. Okay. Space. I'm just gonna copy all this to make it a little bit shorter. Control V. Alright, and then this time it's gonna be if y2 x, if the space on the up and down axis that our player is to move into is empty, then map yx equals where our player was equals empty space, and y has v added to it, so that makes y is one more or one less or whatever it is. So the location of our player is now a different value on the map, so he's now at a different place. Okay? Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. What we're going to have to do is, to get this actually working, we have to mess around with this a little bit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable game running. Alright. Bool game running. That's if the game is running. And so now I'm going to create, and I'm going to have to create an object for our console class so that I can use console functions inside of this part. So I'm going to create console. I'm just going to name it console. And it just doesn't understand console. So to make it understand what console means, I'm going to have to include console.h. And now it stops complaining. And know that that's a class now. We've created an object that'll let us use the functions in console. Alright. So I'm going to create a while loop. Well, a while loop, what that will do in here is that while the condition is true, I'll continue to loop around and around on all the different functions so that we continue to move over and over again, continue to check conditions, and it'll just keep the game running so the game won't stop as soon as it starts or anything like that. So it's just the loop that lets us continue to do things. So I'm going to say while game running, while the game is running, and is that inside of the... Alright. Okay. That was good, actually, what I had. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to have the map be drawn. So what we're going to do is I'm also going to add the line system CLS. What this does, well, this will clear the screen, and I think when it kind of, from my memory, kind of keeps the screen from being too glitchy and messed up. And now what we're going to have to do is we're all going to have to include another file, include windows.h, and we'll use the keyboard functions and other things that we're going to need. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to create a function or a loop that'll draw the map. So we're going to create a for loop, which, as you know, loops not like a while loop. It'll just loop back and forth until it's drawn the entire map. So for, I'm going to create int equals 0, and I think some okay, I is less than, and what you're going to do is you're going to go to console, you're going to look at your map, and it's going to be less than it's going to be less than whatever your map is on the y-axis. So this will make us stop as soon as it reaches 10 different segments on the y-axis, which will just make it draw the 10 columns of the map, and I plus plus. So every time it iterates, I is one more. So I eventually reaches 10, or yeah. So it stops drawing the map once we have. I'm losing my train of thought. It just stops drawing a map once the loop is through. So I'm just gonna have to write C out and map I and end line character. C out draws text or other stuff onto the console output window, and it draws a map. That's what's drawing. ENDL pushes cursor to the next line, so it's putting each. So it's going to draw a map just like this. Without the ENDL, it'd put all the characters on the same line. We don't want that to happen. Alright, now it's time. And system system pause null. And I'm just going to comment this out right now so you actually see. I think I wrote that wrong. Yeah. So you can actually see why we need that. Okay. And now we're going to include some actual movement. Alright, so we're going to include if. Now, how in C++, how you check the key, if a key is pressed, use a function called get a sync key. I guess it's key state. Yeah, get a sync key state, and the key is called VK up. That is the up arrow key. So this just means if the up key is pressed, up arrow key is pressed, then we're gonna make our character move. So I'm just gonna say console dot move, and we're gonna move him. If he presses the up key, we're gonna make him move up 1 space on the y-axis. So we put 1 and then 0 because we don't want him moving to the left or right. And it's just going to add a semicolon. And it's complaining about get a sync key state. Okay, S needs to be lowercase. Computers are very particular. Alright, and you can just copy that. Enter, Control V. Alright, if we get VK down, if we press the down arrow key, we're going to move -1, which means we're going to move down on the y-axis. Alright, enter, Control V. So we're coming more to the easy part. And if equals VK right, that's the right arrow key. 0. And we're going to say move 1. So it's move 1 space on the x-axis, which is to the right. And then, last but not least, if the arrow key is left, move 0 on the y-axis and -1 on the x-axis, which will make it move left. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. And I'm going to add... Well, let's just go and debug what we've got now. Hope I'm not being too able to follow along. And I'll make up for, if I'm not the best teacher, I'll make up for making this game very interesting by adding some features C++ teachers don't in their console games. And it's building. Just taking a little bit of time to do it, so I guess that means I could brush up on my C++. No. Alright, that means it's generating code, so I think I don't need to tell a joke. I'll tell you a good joke. Me, Joseph Charles Levesque. Best joke I ever know. Okay. Yay! It's working. Kind of. Give it a little bit of time to see if it's going to draw this. Press arrow. And it's not doing it. So, let's see what we got here. System. CLF. And I'm going to uncomment this line now. Wait a minute. Error. Red light. What's the problem? Copy this line. Control Z. Copy this line. I might need to add this line. I'm ashamed to admit, I don't really remember what it does. I should have polished up on it, but I know you've got to add that line, which I think maybe allows you to continue to press keys, or to be what causes it not to glitch. Alright. And still not working. Okay. So, I'm going to run over this real quick, see what we got going on. And I'm going to go to main.cpp, and I'm going to take 2 lines, actually, and replace them with system pause, which makes it pause, basically, before the window shuts down. Having both of those was probably what caused the problem. Okay. Run this. I like music. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe too, because there's been some people subscribing, saying to be having a pretty awesome time from what I've heard. From the ones who've actually talked to me. And you should also subscribe so you can be alerted. My next videos are coming out, which I'm going to add keys, and we're going to add keys and coins and other stuff like this to this game, and maybe even a level generator. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's being so super duper slow. Press any key to continue. What is your problem, bro? You're supposed to be drawing a map. Okay. Checking what we got here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is happening. Okay. And I'm gonna pause this video and find out what the problem is, and I'll be right. Okay, I'm back. The problem was pretty simple. I find bull game running, but I didn't even tell if it was true, and when the compiler checked to see if it was true, and I didn't say it was true, it got confused, so now I just added equals true. Sorry about that, guys. Hope you still think I'm cool. And now when we do that, we've got a little dum-dum here. And so one bug we need to fix is that I have to press the up arrow key to go down, but the left and right arrow keys are moved right, and you see when I press the arrow keys, it's moving. This is awesome. My other game was a lot more glitchiness. So I'm just going to fix this. This should be -1. Now when I debug it. Huh. Still doing that. Come on, guys. That's int1, 0. I don't know why it's doing that. Alright. So, yeah, it does need to move -1 because in a map like this is like a location 1, this is 2, 1. And so it should be 1, I think. I don't know what the problem is, so anyway, I'm just going to swap. Put this as negative right now, and I'm just going to click build, rebuild solution. I don't really care if I have to press different arrow keys, but let's see what we got over here. -1. So, yeah. This is right. Debugging. See if it works now. And you see it's compiling a lot quicker. And now the arrow keys are working. Alright, we got some map done, and I don't think I really want to do anything else right now, because I got a basic video down, so, I mean, basic controls down, or, wrong key, F5 to debug. Okay, and so, the next video, so that y'all guys will be ready, and will subscribe, so you can, you know, keep an eye out for my video. The next video, we are going to add coins, and we're going to build the map up a little bit. And you notice that since I said if the space that he's moving into equals an empty space, you notice because of that, he's not moving into, when I'm pressing up arrow key right now, he's not moving into the space above him because that's not an empty space. So he knows, the computer knows he can't move into that. So that's the basics behind creating walls. But I will show you to make, for example, some walls you can go through once you get a key. And I'll show you how to get coins so you can go through them. But right now, that's all we got there. I'm going to click save this. Save all. And maybe if I get a lot of response from this video, I'll want to come out with the next one even faster. That's what you call manipulation. And